Hello, this is Mark here at Gare's Guitars in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and I'm here to talk about the used guitar apocalypse update. So, for those of you who know or don't know, and half a year ago I predicted that used guitars were too plentiful in the market and that all the values on used guitars were going to come down. My guess was about 20%. And I think that's kind of come true. So this is going to talk about some of those factors and then talk about going forward what I predict, because I don't think we're done yet. So, I've made a couple of these videos where I just talk about kind of this inside baseball of selling guitars. It used to be people would trade two guitars for one guitar. That something you were done with didn't have a retail value to it. It just had a I'm done with it value. And that was throughout our culture. And that actually still has to do with things that aren't guitars. So when someone's done with a car, sometimes they give it to a relative. When someone's done with some clothes, they donate it to a charity or just give it away. When people are done with most things that they interact with, their old telephone, they're just like, just trade it in for $50 and get the new iPhone, and that's fine. Something you bought for $1,000 or trading for $50, but it doesn't faze people. But in the guitar world, people have this idea that guitar values are static. A guitar is like buying stock, and and you buy it for $500 and you sell it for $500 and you get to play it in the meantime. So there is a bit of an unrealistic expectation of what a used guitar is worth after it's used again, or when a new guitar becomes used, what it's worth. So there are too many guitars. When is peak guitar? I was talking to someone recently, a customer, about this. Like, when is peak guitar? No one really knows. When will there just be enough guitars for everyone and we can all just play them? It's not going to happen yet. There's interesting changes in the guitar manufacturing world too, but there are too many used guitars in the market and maybe too many new guitars as well. The pandemic has a lot to do with this. Everyone just decided to learn guitar because they were stuck at home. All the guitar market got just emptied out, and all the guitar manufacturers thought, this is it, a new guitar boom. It's 1964 all over again, and they over-manufactured, and that led them to overstocking sellers, and that led to sellers marking down prices. That combined with a used guitar situation where if you want to sell a used guitar in a store like this, if I want to sell a used Gretsch, the $899 Gretsch used is $400 or something like that. It's just, there's just enough Gretsches out there right now, and I'm sorry to my friends at Gretsch because I play a Gretsch. I like Gretsch quite a bit. All the best to you, but I can't buy any more Gretsches because there's just too many out there too cheaply. So, as a store, that's something that concerns me. Now, the bigger concern, and so the next phase, part of this next phase thing, is there's going to be a race to the bottom, and we're seeing that now. So we saw people have high prices and hold them, like on Reverb and eBay. I mentioned this in another video, where just Reverb prices just seemed out of touch with what people are really buying and selling things for, because people can just list things for any price that they perceive it's worth, and there's no kind of market reaction to that. There's no cost of misadventure or something like that. There's no, if your guitar doesn't sell, you still got a guitar, so what do you care, kind of. And a lot of low risk selling things. So this situation here is a high risk selling thing because I have employees, I have rents and inventory costs, and so but low risk selling is some dude, usually dude, in their garage, just buying and selling guitars, or putting things on eBay, which is fine. That doesn't bother me because it's low volume, and buying and selling becomes a hobby or a side hustle. Okay, we're going to live in that world, and that's the world we live in, and I'm not going to fight that or get angry about that. Being a brick and mortar store, and about people, other retailers can try to undercut me. That's fine. The dealers, the manufacturers are trying to undercut me. That's fine. But the race to the bottom is what I'm the next phase of this guitar apocalypse. I've been noticing this lately, so we use Reverb and eBay and a few other sites for market research. Like, what are these things selling for? Someone came in the store with a Mesa Boogie amp, and I was like, he wanted to sell it, or us to sell it for him. So I was like, yeah, it looks like an $800 amp. That means it's probably a $700 amp right now. Let me do a little research, and I'll get back to you. And I was... and then I went on eBay, and there are the people asking the $800 it used to be worth, and the people asking the $699 that I thought it might be worth. And then someone else comes in, selling for $550. Price drop, $250. And then I was like, whoa, you can buy one of these on Reverb right now for $550. That's what they call, that's what I would offer a person to buy that amp and resell it for $8. So it's like, oh, what can I offer this person? I don't want to add this amp. And then I just kind of went through. And we actually had a very interesting thing. We were searching for Les Pauls, Les Paul Custom. We were doing an appraisal on a Les Paul Custom, and there were, I think, 5,000 Les Paul Customs on Reverb, just on Reverb, and just the custom. So the market's flooded. If you gotta or want to or have to sell these things, you've got to mark down the price. And there comes the race to the bottom. Who can undercut the next guy to be the next one that sells? And this is kind of like, going back, this is eBay classic. This, undercutting used to be the fundamental of eBay. I've been selling on eBay since the year 2002, I believe. And undercutting was just the only way to sell on eBay. People would just like come in, you come in, you'd find this niche thing that you could present and sell, and someone would just come in and undercut you. And it happened to me a couple of times on something. I was like, briefly, I was the Hammond organ Grim Reaper. I was taking kind of out of shape M3s and parting them out for parts to repair B3s. And so it's kind of like non-viable M3, like an M3 with a blown up amp. I'm like, well, forget about that. We'll take out the tone generator. We'll take out the chorus generator, vibrato generator, and keys and drawbars. And anyways, it was fun for about 6 months. And then a bunch of other people figured out you could do this, and there were all these other people doing that. So the race to the bottom is nothing new in online retail. It is in brick and mortar retail, yeah, a little, but brick and mortar stores and their online presence are really locked in. This is kind of an advantage we have, that we hardly sell anything on the internet. I really should sell more stuff on the internet, I suppose. But so that tighter market of the internet doesn't affect us too much. We have a website, and if you see something you like, you usually have to come in and buy it. So, but the race to the bottom. So I went on and I started doing a little more research on like what is there too much of, and what are the prices coming down on. And so they're coming down on just perfectly fine Mesa Boogie amps, and they're also coming down on those super rare things that people were willing to make a one-time purchase on, like Roland Space Echoes and certain rare pedals. I don't know. I haven't checked Klon prices lately, but that's that thing. Like, okay, I'm going to spend way too much money on this one thing, and that was a real popular endeavor in the last, since the pandemic time thing, and now it's kind of turned the other way. Those things are coming down in price. So the next phase of the used guitar apocalypse is as follows. We're going to see the race to the bottom increase. We're going to see more stores and online sellers and people who have to sell undercut each other, and the people who don't have to sell will keep their prices high. And there's going to be a bigger gap between what the street price is and what the asking price is. All right, so I'm going to wrap that up. Thank you again for watching. If I hadn't thanked you yet, I thank everyone quite a bit. Subscribe and like and all that kind of stuff helps. Instagram, find us on Instagram and Facebook. That helps. Send a message, put in a comment. You know the drill. Thanks for watching.